Hey guys, this is Kudos versus Illidan Stormrage, and this is Darkwolf 2.43, servers TruWoW. I am Obsidian, playing as Elemental Shaman. Now everyone knows this boss, you have to know this boss. Epic encounter, actually not really the hardest encounter in TBC. I mean, not even the hardest encounter pre-Sunwell. But still a hard encounter nonetheless. You see me putting up a bot and getting mana potions. Why? Because you will, if you're an elemental and you're trying to do any respectable amount of DPS, you're gonna period. You will on this fight. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen. Alright, so basic pre-fight setup. As you're noticing, we're not separating ourselves for the for his parasitic debuff, because there's just a few things he doesn't do in this private server. He's almost fully scripted, but not fully. His parasites, he still makes them, but they don't give you the debuff. They still do the 3k damage on you, but not the debuff. So we don't really care where we stand. It doesn't matter. Yeah, as you can see right now, this is just basic Illidan. When he does crash, you move. See someone pulled. Luckily, he didn't do Drain Soul. See, he did it right after. If he did Drain Soul right when that pull happened, that would be a problem. As you see, those are the parasites, and the AoE down, easy. No debuff, easy. See? That's why we're all in the middle, instead of separating, because of that. So that makes this phase extremely easy. I didn't really like the place that we started tanking at, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's kind of a, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You just don't want to move too much when you're tanking, pretty much. I'm not gonna berate the tanks. They do excuse me, I'm still sick. They do a great job. As elemental, I'm telling you, if you're nuking, you will just because of the fact that you're not going to get touched by anything, so your water shield isn't gonna proc. And the fact that Illidan is just a long encounter. Now there's some downtime in it, but for all intents and purposes, you will be using a mana pot every single time you can. I got a little bit confused here. I was just like, wrong group. Yeah, that's my fault. And okay, so we have a druid tanking one of the ads, which, I mean, he proved to everyone that he could. Now I'm just like, okay guys, we're in a bad position. We might get hit by the actual I-beam. We actually don't, and by moving back, I actually end up moving back to where I should be later. But basically, you want to be separated by at least 4 yards from everyone else because of that AoE that he does. The fact is, we have never really done this that I've seen when we're completely accurately separated. So we just let our heals just, go crazy and do more than they should. Now, flame tanking, phase 2 is the hardest part of this fight. I'm not a flame tank. I never have flame tanked. But I've seen it, and I've read on it. I've read what we need to do. So I mean, I've read what they need to do, I should say, and it's just the hardest part of the encounter, and it works perfectly. As in, like, it's just as it's supposed to be in retail. He still does his eye blast. He still does his barrage. And yeah, also as a shaman, it's your job to know when to bloodlust. This is the phase to bloodlust. You want to get this phase over as soon as possible. As you can see, our stacking still isn't fully correct because I'm over here saying, I don't want to get hit by I-beam. They're over here saying, I don't want to get hit by AoE. And I always start a little bit closer just in case, because I'm always just like, I would rather get hit by an AoE that the healers can out-heal than an I-beam that I'm going to die from. That's just it. Or the flames that I'm going to die from. Anyway, so our stacking wasn't great, but our healers are. So, carried by healers, I guess. Carried by good flame tanks. Carried by whatever, but not carried by good positioning. We hit phase 3. Now, this is something else that Illidan doesn't do. You see us spread out, but we're not as spread as we probably should be. Actually, I'll tell you why in a little bit. We don't need to spread out that much for this phase, actually. This is just like phase 1. Almost exactly like it. So, and since we don't have to worry about the but he does do the agonizing flames, which is just, get out of the way kind of thing. You just, like, when you see blue flames on crash, when you see agonizing flames, when you see anything, get out of the way. if you know to get out of the way of stuff, you'll be fine in this fight. Yeah. As an elemental, you're going to Okay, now here we go. Now here's the demon phase. Now everyone has to get at least 20 yards away from the tank, and also back away from Illidan himself. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna chill right here. Now here's the thing that I was telling you that he doesn't do. That's the reason why we're not as spread as you would imagine that we should be. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I remember it from retail. I actually I never really got to Illidan at level 70. Yeah, I know, it's unfortunate. That's one of the main reasons why I play on a private server, to relive the glory days of TBC. But yeah, one thing that he doesn't do is he doesn't do that attack where he shoots out all of the blue fireballs and it hits you for 2k and has a little AoE around you. So that's why we don't actually spread on that, which makes it possible for us to do a lot more DPS on that phase than we would normally do, because we don't have to worry about being so spread. Yeah, agonizing flames, you see, hit us and vanished. So I mean, there's some small things. I'm not gonna say, oh man, our server is so bad because this encounter isn't 100% correct. This encounter has phase 2 right, and the way I feel is if you can do phase 2, the rest of the encounter is cake. He summons his demons like way less than he should. You know, the demons that paralyze the 4 players and like move towards them, and you have to slow them and kill them before they get to the 4 players that they, have chosen. Yeah, he does do that, but he doesn't do it as frequently as he should. Now, I'm over here getting mana potions left and right because I'm just like, screw this, I'm not going to be able to last this fight. But given all that, it's still a great fight. Oh, you want to move away from Maeve. She is stupid. She may pull, and if she pulls, I mean, like, not even with like having more aggro than the or having more threat than the main tank. She's a stupid. I'd rather her not even help us, really, because if she like turns Illidan in the face, everyone's like, oh, drain soul. No, so yeah, we get away from her because she's not helping. So yeah, and so since he doesn't do those few things, everything past phase 2 is cake. If he did do those things, it would just take longer to kill him. That's it. Because we'd have to spread more here, less DPS here. It would just take longer. It wouldn't actually make him that much harder at all. And yeah, so great fight. This was a great upper BT. This was in my opinion, a subpar lower BT, followed up by we did a great job on upper. You see me getting some more pots, or a final pot to finish off the fight. But seriously, this was a good job on everyone. You can say, oh well, this upper BT isn't quite as hard as retail was at the time, but it's just like, well, what do you want us to do? The devs have been working and making this raid better, and they're still working on it. So it's just like, do you want us to not raid until it's like, exactly like retail? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to take what we have and make the best of it and have some fun. And we had some fun today. It was great. Yeah, I'm just looking at my gear. And everyone's linking false warglaves because everyone wants it, but it didn't actually drop. I think, if I remember correctly, I want to say his shield dropped, and we'll see in a second when it shows it. I want to say his shield and the healing mace. Let's see if I was right. Oh, I was right. I actually tried to roll. I tried to roll for the shield, and people got mad at me. Now, later on, you're going to see some videos that are going to blow your mind. I actually, not only do I play Restoration, Elemental, and Enhancement, I actually tank as well. And you're probably like, this guy's high. You can't tank as a shaman. Yeah, you can. You really can. And there's nothing to say now. When you see the videos of me tanking, you'll be like, whoa, yeah, exactly. Anyway, so yeah, great upper BT, elemental shaman stuff. You guys probably know by now. It is just having your totems up, knowing when to cast lightning bolt, knowing when to cast chain, and knowing when to not cast chain, and have your mana pots ready. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will show you guys some more raids coming up as soon as I can. Thanks.